Hey guys, it's Danae back from my week of camping in Wisconsin. We were lakeside for that week and it was amazing, but I don't know if you can see all the little white spots. I kind of got eaten alive by bugs. So if you're wondering what all of that is, it's actually nail polish. It was one of the things that we used to do when I was younger, was put nail polish on our bug bites to kind of dry them out, make them not itch, which I want to like scratch everything right now, but it's working. But I didn't have clear nail polish, so I have white nail polish all over me, so it's cool. It's fine, I work from home, so no one can see me. But lots of things going on in the garden while we were gone, and I can't wait to show you. So let's go outside. Alright, so I'm back from my week-long vacation, and let's check out the garden. It's the beginning of June. Maybe do like a monthly garden tour just to kind of see what's going on. So this will be June's monthly garden. Let's see. We've got our potatoes are absolutely huge. I'm super excited that these are just exploding. This guy, he was the last to be planted, so he's still working on it. But we've got our herbs looking good. Bought a Thai basil. He's looking good. Parsley and mint seem to be growing well. Our strawberries are still struggling, but they've got new growth on them, some of them. This guy has 0, and this one back here, he's got nothing on him too, so we might have to pull those, replace them. But yeah. We've got our broccoli, which absolutely got huge while I was gone. This guy looks like he's close to bolting, so I'm gonna have to pull him or harvest. Got some good guys back there. Little tiny one in that one. There's a weed. Zinnias are starting to grow. Have our peppers. I was really worried about the peppers, I'm not gonna lie, because while we were gone, the first night that we were gone, it actually got down to about 45 degrees, and I was not here to cover and uncover them. So I think they did okay. They're looking good. These poblanos got pretty big. Looking definitely like we've got some little blossoms coming soon on these guys, so that's exciting. And these other ones look like getting ready to blossom too. These are our bells, our red bells. Serranos, not really doing much of anything, but that's okay. They look like they're growing at least. These are our jalapenos. Got some some growth in there. Our chocolate habanero that, despite being eaten by the cat, seems to be doing better. No growth on that yet though as far as peppers, but they're real slow as far as I've heard. Our chili de arbol that got decapitated seems to be growing back in bushy. And then really excited, we've got, if I get in there, our first bloom of a pepper on our holy moly plant. So really excited about that. Radishes, definitely looking like ready to harvest. Seeing this big guy in here. Let's see if I can go. Oops, if I can get in there. It's got some red coming up. Don't mind I got absolutely eaten alive by mosquitoes on my vacation. That's what happens when you camp. Spinach growing really slow. Our peas are kind of a mess. They were not quite tall enough to get the little tendrils up to our trellis or our lattice back here, so they kind of fell over and started just grabbing onto each other. So I have to get in there and kind of untangle everybody. But carrots are growing, looking kind of tall here, but not tall enough quite yet. So definitely did not anticipate how slow those were going to grow, because I wanted to plant my corn here and nothing is ready. So I'm going to harvest that radish guy and try to plant my corn in this spot where the cucumbers were supposed to go. So we'll see if that works out. Our zinnias getting bigger. And then we've got our tomatoes over here. Got a couple blossoms coming. Our Roma is actually looking like they're growing. Got a few blossoms back there too. I just keep running into things. Got a few blossoms back on the Romas. That guy in there somewhere. There we go, there's one. Oh my god, I'm terrible at this. Got some blossoms there on our San Marzanos. Got a big San Marzano going on here. These guys have definitely shot up. Gotta come out here with my trimmers and get some of these. Get some of these suckers out. But then there's this guy back here. See if I can get to him. This is the one monster Italian paste tomato that I got. And he's just, I don't know what's happening. The leaves are curling up, but I can't find as far as any sort of pests on it. Haven't really done anything as far as herbicides. The other thing was wind damage. But these leaves are totally curled up. They're, where these are kind of softer for my San Marzanos, these are thick. Like, they're thick and they're rough. And this guy has not grown at all. Like, these guys got super tall. And he used to be the biggest, and he's not growing. So something is obviously wrong with him. And I am gonna have to pull him and replace him because I don't know what it is. It's obviously some sort of possible like tomato virus thing that it's afflicted with, and I don't know if it's spreadable. I don't know what's going on, but obviously something wrong, and we're gonna get rid of him. Got our cilantro that I need to cut because he definitely is a little out of control and slightly bolting. Got our oregano. I need to harvest this part because it kind of bothers me. I'm very about the symmetry, and this is not symmetry to me. It's just kind of sticking out everywhere. So that is the inside of the garden, and I'll take you out and show you the flowers as well. Alright, so we're out here in the flower section. We've got our snapdragons are all blooming, our wildflowers back here. I have no idea what they are, but it seems to be coming up. Phlox is doing great and growing. Got our geraniums. Need to kind of deadhead some of these snapdragons, see if they'll come back. But I did notice on a couple of my geraniums, something's been eating them. So I may have to spray my deer repellent again. Someone left us a treat. Maybe the same thing that's eating my geraniums. So maybe it's not deer repellent. Maybe it's squirrels. I don't know. Got all this, got a few grass weeds in there. And then I noticed this guy. From my Picture This app that identifies plants, says that it is pigweed, I think it was, or bacon weed, or there was another name for it. I don't know. It had a bunch of names. But it just came up out of nowhere. So we're gonna have to get rid of him because he definitely is not what I planted. Got our salvia back there. Looks pretty good. This guy still looking good. Still no flowers on it yet though. But usually has little baby leaves that keep coming up in it, so it's still growing, still doing good. Just got that guy to unfurl, got that guy back there to unfurl, and down there, so he's still growing. Just no flowers yet. That's okay. And then we have this side, a pile of crap I left there last time. Our coleus is growing, which is really exciting to me because I was definitely sure that I planted it in the wrong spot and it was gonna die. But it seems to be doing okay. Got all of that. Our sweet Elysium seeds that I just kind of chucked in there seem to be coming up. And this, despite looking really gross before, I pulled those out. That was one of the snapdragons and one of the big plants in the middle that I've forgotten what it is. Pulled those out because they were dying, but it seems to be coming back to life. So we've got that growing. There's still some mushrooms in there, which the internet told me that's okay. It's nothing to be worried about because it just means you have a lot of live things in your soil, so it's good. Yeah, I've got some growth in the coleus over here as well. That guy, just really excited. Things are looking good, things are coming up, and hopefully I've got some blossoms on things that we'll start to actually see some fruit, some tomatoes, some peppers. So, gonna have some broccoli. Yeah, June's looking pretty good. All right, so obviously we're back in the house. As you can tell, everything seemed to fare the week okay. Potatoes are doing great, broccoli's growing and bolting, so I'm gonna have to get that one. Peppers have a blossom on it. Tomatoes are looking good, except for the one. I have to figure that part out. But what I was worried about mostly leaving was that it wasn't gonna rain, because it hadn't rained for about a week before we left. I watered them on Sunday because the entire forecast, the whole time I'd been like watching up to it, hadn't had anything say that it was gonna rain, or just a very slight possibility of rain. So I was like, okay, watering heavily on Sunday before we leave, so at least they have a drink. I've got them mulched, so we'll hold the moisture in. Hopefully that one night that it was 45 degrees won't hurt anything, won't hurt the peppers, because I didn't have any way to cover them or uncover them if I did cover them, so I let them be. They seem fine, but rain that I was worried about ended up raining for 2 days straight. And then rained the day we came back yesterday, has rained really heavily today, with a threat of more rain. As I'm looking at the clouds, it's probably gonna rain again. And also a possibility, at least like a 50% or higher chance of rain for the rest of the week too. So they're gonna get watered and maybe overwatered, hopefully not. So let's talk about that monster Italian paste tomato that has severe leaf curl. Looking it up to try to figure out what the heck was going on with this tomato plant, there were a couple things that it could have been. Wind damage, which I doubt, because it might be a little bit windy, but none of the other plants look like that. It could have been herbicides, either in my compost or mulch, which again, none of the other plants have really been affected. Could have been herbicide drift from the neighbors, which the closest neighbor up against that fence, they do have landscapers that have been coming out and putting down mulch and getting their backyard. They have a pool and like a really beautiful like raised patio. It's kind of gorgeous. Like their backyard setup's really nice. But they've been coming in and working on that, but I don't think that they've really had any kind of like sprays. I mean, they might have, but again, it's the furthest from that fence, like in the corner. So and none of the other plants, none of my peas that are right next to it, or my radishes, the peppers that are right up against that fence, none of it has any sort of like noticeable damage to it. So I don't think it's herbicides, don't think it's wind. I don't see any pests on it, so I'm not sure. It did come from a greenhouse. It's the only one that we bought as far as tomato plants from that greenhouse that had a bunch of aphids all over everything. Our pepper plants had aphids on it. We searched everything and tried to get them all off, but that's the only place that we purchased like that particular type of tomato from. We have 3 Romas, which came from a different greenhouse. We have 3 San Marzanos, which also came from like 3 separate places. And that's the only one that we got at this particular greenhouse for tomatoes. And it's the only one that's like that. It's not growing. It's had that leaf curl for a little bit. So I don't know if it's from whatever bugs might have been at that greenhouse, whether they had something that
they sprayed herbicides or had overspray from somewhere else, or if it's some sort of like virus that tomato ended up getting, since it's the only monster Italian one we have as well. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just that variety. I don't know if it's just that greenhouse, just that particular plant. I don't know, but I'm probably gonna pull it because it's sort of been looking rough for a little bit. It's had that slight leaf curl to it, but not quite as severe as it is now. And it hasn't grown, like, at all. It was that size when I left a week ago, and everything else is like shot up. So I think that one's gonna have to go, and we'll just, it's still early enough in the season. The greenhouses still have a lot of plants for sale, so I'm just gonna probably pull it up and plant something else in its place and see what we can get. So it's a bummer. I was kind of hoping to see what that kind of variety would do, what it tasted like, how it matched up with the Romas and the San Marzanos for paste tomatoes that I'm going to do. But it's gardening. What are you going to do? But